Welcome back, guys, to another tutorial. Today we're gonna learn how to sculpt a dinosaur. This is a dinosaur project that I'm working on right now. I think it's starting to look pretty cool. It's a dinosaur hybrid. So I've just thought that I would show you guys how I sculpt my dinosaurs from scratch. So it's gonna be like a tutorial series, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So you can use any software you want. I'm gonna use Zbrush because I'm most used to it, but you can use Blender, Zbrush of course, Modbox, any software you want just to sculpt, any sculpting software, and just follow along. It's all about the fundamentals, it's not about the technical stuff, so it doesn't matter which software you use. But if you are using Blender, just remember to at least wait, give me 1 second here, guys. Yeah, remember that if you're using Blender, delete everything, add a sphere, go to sculpting mode, make sure that symmetry is on up here in the corner. You see here, up in the corner, that symmetry is on, that Dino Topo is on, and that you have it on like lower scale so you can get more detail. Then you just drag this out so you see all the different kind of like brushes. Yeah, and that's really important. And then under brush, acclimate and front faces only. Yes, you have this like settings on, and remember also to use strength pressure. You don't necessarily need to use like size pressure, but be sure to like just turn that on. So yeah, that's the settings you need to use for like something like sculpting in Blender. But let's begin. Okay, now my computer is not being my friend today, but okay, let's begin. I'm just gonna do it this way because this is gonna go a little bit faster. I'm gonna start from a sphere like this. Make sure that symmetry is on, and now we're just gonna start with the basic shapes. So I am having a ton of reference at the side on my another monitor. So make sure to have skeleton reference and references from like from Jurassic Park and World and all this kind of amazing reference. So I'm just gonna pull a reference up so I can see it. Okay, I'm just gonna start scaling this down and start to like sculpt the overall body. I'm just using the move brush right now, just to create the overall shape of the body, and then you can like drag the tail outwards. Yeah, and then look from all different angles, because you really need to make sure that it doesn't just look good from like the side, but from the top and 3/4 view and all of these different kind of views. So see, I'm just adding some more volume. Yeah, like that. And we're just gonna continue with adding volume, and we're gonna add a kind of like this neck shape. So make sure to add like a neck. I don't know how good this guy is gonna look in like the first episode, but I'm gonna show you guys how I sculpt my dinosaurs at least. This might not be the best way to do them, but it works for me. I think my dinosaurs look fine at least. Not super good maybe, but they're getting there. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm using Zbrush, so I need to add more topology. Like that. I'm just adding the head shape. I know this looks really bad right now. Using the trim dynamic flatten brush kind of brush just to make planes the overall head. Do this on the entire body. Now this side here, it's really important that you not nail it, but get into an okay state before you're going on. So I'm just gonna tweak the side view a little bit before I before I go to the next step. This is my first time doing kind of like this. It's not live, but sculpting and talking at the same time. So please let me know what you think about this, guys, or if you prefer me to talk over my like time lapses. But I think this is easier to follow along with because I'm doing it. Yeah, you see, I'm just thickening up the body. I think I'm gonna add a tail later, so I'm just gonna delete that. Yeah, I'm just gonna add the tail later. So I'm just deleting the tail because it's hard to move the tail at the same time as I'm moving the body. So I can work a little bit differently. As you see, just adding the very basic shapes. Just gonna indicate where I want hands to be and the legs. Just indicate it with the clay build-up brush. So I have some indications where I want them to go. It's very important that you indicate stuff so you have control of your own sculpture. You can clearly now see that it's starting to look a little bit like a dinosaur, but not really that much. It still looks very weird, or very simplistic and not really like anywhere close to finish. And that I'm gonna sculpt T-Rex arms, and T-Rex has very small arms. So I'm just gonna block them in like this, like tube shapes. For now I'm just using the move brush. You can also use the snake brush just to like drag out the shapes. That's really nice feature. Yeah, so I'm gonna mask out the legs a little bit so I get some volume to work with. Invert that mask and pull the base of the legs out. And then I'm just gonna erase the mask and drag out the bottom part of the leg. You see something like this. Now it looks a little bit ridiculous, but we're gonna fix that. Trust me. And then we're just gonna extrude the next part of the leg, the foot part right here. Yeah, this doesn't look good, so I'm just gonna try to redirect overall. My dinosaur always has this like nice curve, not curve, but like zigzag away with the legs, so it like goes out and then goes in and then like turns outwards like this. Just because looking at a lot of different animals or like ostrich anatomy, they have it kind of like that, so I'm exaggerating it so it looks more artistically pleasing. You can see now the legs look way too big, so I'm just gonna mask them out and scale them down a little bit because they are way too big at the moment. So just gonna scale them down, yeah, like that, and just scale the legs down. Maybe not that small, but they're not super big, because then the T-Rex gonna look like it's not gonna look like a big dinosaur if the legs are too big. They're more gonna be like really just thick legs, because it's a lot of muscles to keep all of that keep up his entire body, or hers, just keeping the body up. For a T-Rex it's very you need a lot of muscle to do that. I'm just gonna dino mesh here. Then I'm just gonna smooth it out a little bit so I can see what I think about the shape of the legs. I think it's starting to look pretty decent as a starting shape. Yeah, starting to look fine, I think. I'm just gonna mask out a little bit of the back here using the mask pen. Convert that mask using the move tool to just pull the tail outwards. The tail ain't super like long, but it's really thick and has a lot of volume in it. But don't make it too long, because it's gonna look really weird. It's not gonna look like a big dinosaur then it's gonna look more like a smaller one, like a velociraptor or something like that. So be sure that you're very careful with the proportions of your dinosaur. It's really important. Yeah, you see here now it's starting to look kinda like a dinosaur. Yeah, now we have the really basic proportions of a dinosaur. That didn't take so much time, but now we're gonna add like the feet, like just basic shapes. So am I just doing like using Zbrush to just pull it out like this? You see, out like this, just to get the basic shape. Then fixing proportions on the legs so it makes this like zigzag pattern that I was talking about earlier. And the hands we're gonna leave the moment. Then the head is really important. It's pretty small actually. It's not gonna be super huge. So I'm just gonna take the damn standards and just like draw in where I want the head to be. I want it to be something like that, and then I can like compare it to reference if that is too big or too small. I think the proportion doesn't look right, so I'm just gonna change the proportions, dragging the body down a little bit so it looks like more like he has a lot of weight on his body, and then just doing the lower jaw a little bit, just refining some shapes. We're just blocking this T-Rex in right now. Yeah, you can see here. Yeah, something like that. It looks a little bit weird right now, but it's gonna look cool in the end. Yeah, I'm just doing some very basic, using flatten brush to just sculpt in some basic shapes. Something like that, but I think or the T-Rex body is a little bit like longer this way, so I'm just gonna pull it out a little bit, and then I'm gonna smooth this guy a fair bit actually, and pull the arms out again because they got erased when I smoothed it. So I'm gonna just add them once more, just an indication of where I want the arms to be. Then making sure to add clear sign where I want the neck to be, and the loose skin underneath the neck. Then adding some more volume to the leg, so it looks a little bit bigger and stronger. Yeah, that's starting to look pretty nice out actually. But the arms, they are a little bit further apart. You need to make sure that it's enough space for the rib cage, so it's actually going inwards more towards the legs and outwards right here. Making sure that it's starting to look like a T-Rex, just pulling the tail in a little bit so it's get this nice triangle here. The legs are gonna be further out in the tail, so really important that you just make sure that you got these proportions locked down. It's starting to kind of look like a T-Rex now, so that's cool. Making the legs a little bit thicker because we need a very thick legs to be able to keep all that weight up. Yeah, something like that. Now I just want to start with blocking in some very basic anatomy for the body. I usually like to start with the body and then sculpt the head a little bit further ahead. So I think we should just start with like blocking in the overall muscles of the leg. So then I'm using some like ostrich and bird anatomy. That's a really good idea, and so I'm just gonna put those references up here on my second monitor. Let's see here now. Yeah, now I have some anatomy reference here. Good. So okay, gonna blocking the calves to begin with. Two ginormous muscles here. Very important for him to be able to walk as quickly as this dinosaur is supposed to be able to walk. Sorry, that I just lost words. Adding the pelvis up here and just connecting the muscle from the pelvis down to the knee like this. Just from here, this knee point right here, connecting it up to the pelvis right here, making sure that the muscle is starting to get over shape that it needs. Just here I'm gonna block in two different muscles, so I'm just gonna make one muscle there and the second one right here to begin with, something like that. Then I'm gonna erase some of this volume right here, because the other muscle is gonna come from this side and up here, and then I want another muscle on the side here. You can see some basic anatomy is starting to get in place. Then from here, just want very basic muscle going the side like this, from the knee here down to a skeleton joint down here. Just adding some more volume and adding overall muscles one by one. Very important that you get the muscles somewhat correctly, because they're gonna make the T-Rex look more photoreal, if that's what the look you're going for. And here I'm just indicating the bone structure a little bit, so I'm just erasing some geometry to really get a nice looking sculpture. You can see it's very basic anatomy we have started to block in, and I can already see that I want to use the move brush to just move part further up and make the leg a little bit more like bird-like. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Then just adding the deltoids, shoulder muscles. It's looking a little bit weird on a T-Rex, so I'm just gonna show the shape. Something like this. So add this like V shape here, shoulder, and then from the shoulder I want these big muscles to go here and the other one to go up like this. I want it to just blend into the body. This muscle also connects up here. It's like, you know, it's the trapezius muscle. I guess it's the trapezius muscle actually. I'm not sure, but that's what I think it is. And the like V-shaped muscle here, or V-shape on like big bodybuilders. This is a T-Rex, so it doesn't look the same. Here we have a muscle connecting here. And then here we have the like, on a human it would be abs, but here is just the muscle we're gonna indicate like this. And then we're also gonna indicate the skeleton a little bit, that goes like this. Because from here on we can just like real quickly just indicate that we want some pectoralis major chest muscles. In T-Rex, it's very important to add these muscles. I know it seems silly because we're gonna add so much scales and stuff on top of this, but this really helps it look more real. Then we're gonna add sternocleidomastodon, connected from here, just down here, up behind the like skull here. Just adding some more muscles here, just looking at reference. Just here, just go along with the body, create the muscles. Just got scared, sorry guys. Yeah, wait 1 second. Yeah, Pixie, so, yeah. I just let my dog out from my room, so that's, sorry guys. Yeah, just adding some more muscles. And then the tail, it's really important that you add, it's like, I usually add muscles right here. And then this one big muscle on the top as well. Then I'm gonna connect these muscles. And you see how these legs are so wide? That's not how it looks in real life. They need to be actually close to one another because it's the pelvis. So you use the move brush to just push them inwards. That looks way better. And then the rib cage, making sure that you get the right volume. So it's the thickest towards the end here, and it gets slimmer on top here, towards the overall spine that goes here, the overall spine. Yeah, and now we're just gonna start with indicating some very, very basic head structure. You see, I'm just indicating where I want the head to overall look. Yeah, you can see it looks really bad right now, but we're gonna start fixing some proportions right now at the face. So let's do it. Just gonna pull up a reference. Oh, sorry. Okay, just gonna pull up a reference. I think, yeah, maybe one of these guys. Yeah, so now we got some reference, so I can show you guys. Reference is really key. It's so important with reference. Never sculpt anything properly without reference. If you just wanna do some speed sculpt, you can do it without reference, of course, but be really sure that you add reference into your workflow, because that's really important. Now we're just gonna add some basic shapes. You can see we're just adding some basic shapes. Yeah, very, very basic shapes. Just adding some anatomical detail on the lower jaw. See this line right here? That's an important line, and then marking the enormous muscle there. Not muscle, it's more like a skeleton. Adding some more volume to the face, so add this oh no, it's just gonna save my file. Okay, it usually don't load that long for a small file like this, but okay. Then you sculpt the sides like this. You see it's starting to look kinda like a T-Rex now. No, it still looks very just like a toy, so look from all different angles and just really work the T-Rex up one little step at a time. Just gonna add some more volume on the lower jaw here. The upper jaw, many people make a T-Rex face, and they make it these guys that pops out on the top here, make them go out like this, and they make it really clear like this. And that doesn't look really nice when you add all of these details. It looks fine in the beginning, but when you're gonna add all of these anatomical lines and volumes later, it doesn't gonna look nice. So keep it very, very simple, this more triangular shape. Trust me, guys, it's gonna look way nicer in the end, because otherwise you're gonna have to fiddle with that those kind of basic shapes in the end. So keep your T-Rex shapes very, very, very basic. Yeah, you can see it's starting to look kinda like a T-Rex now. The lower jaw should be pretty powerful, because it's where the bite force. It's gonna be all from the lower jaw. Adding some nice volumes here. Now we've done the first pass, so now we're gonna smooth it out a little bit. Not much. A little bit, just so I can see what I have done. And then just work over it with some very, very just fixing proportions like the leg here, making it a little bit more slim. You see, I'm just making it a little bit more a little slimmer, so I can really quickly work up the volumes later on. So just get the overall proportions right. It's so important to get the gesture and main proportions right, because otherwise going to look very funny in the end. You don't want it to look very funny, you want it to look like an epic T-Rex, right? So just keep working at the proportions and yeah, really make sure that all the proportions are like the proper size to one another, all these things. Just adding some more volume to the leg, making it thinner, making it the tears look bigger. Adding some more volume to the leg here, as I said. Fixing the overall shapes. Yeah, I think it starts to look pretty good out now for as a like very basic base shape. Starts to look fine now actually. I actually just wanna use the flatten brush to indicate the planes that this is more like this cylindrical round area. Important, and I'm gonna sharpen up the scapula here. No, not scapula, but I mean pelvis. Really important that I indicate that bone structure. Then remove some volume on the top here because it's not this high. More like that, more this low, nice like this. Then I'm gonna make him a little bit more like ginormous, more like an elephant kind of look. So I'm just gonna add this really thick looking volumes. It's gonna make him look really, really cool. Changing the size and overall silhouette of this tail a little bit. Yeah, but I think this looks like a pretty decent start. I think we're gonna end it first part of this tutorial right here. I hope you liked it. If you do, please like and subscribe and share this video. If you want to vote on what we're gonna do for the next tutorial or tutorials in the future, please follow me on Instagram on Sculpture for Life. That's my name on Instagram, and they're gonna be able to vote for what kind of like creature or human you want me to sculpt next and show you guys how to sculpt it. So please just help me out, follow me on social media, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.